Good evening. Well, just me tonight. We've had a very, very busy couple weeks. Bob is home with his family tonight, and it is the weekend after the new year. So the first podcast 2026. Actually, kind of excited about this one. It is going to be a weekend weeder special. 2 Heaven Hills distilleries, bourbons, both 7 years old and both weeded. Of course, Hill came out with their grain to glass in the last couple of years, and it's a limited edition. This year, the 2025, it is the Chinquapin barrel. This was distilled in 2018 and released in 2025. It's 105 proof, 35% wheat, 52% corn, and 13% malt. It's similar in age, 7 years to the old Fitzgerald bottled in bond. Of course, this is only 100 proof, as they always come out. This is more readily available than a lot of the old Fitzgeralds. And this was also released in Ohio this year. Just picked up this grain to glass a couple weeks ago. Got in line for a bourbon drop, and that's everything that came out. It seems they were done with the Buffalo Trace stuff for the year. So we're going to try both tonight. We'll start with 100 proof old Fitzgerald bottled in bond. Of course, old Fitzgerald is the original Stitzel Weller product that Pappy Van Winkle made famous. It was their top of the line brand at Stitzel Weller. Of course, when Stitzel Weller was sold off in 1972, this was eventually sold to the Heaven Hill Distillery. It's still the weeded mash bill. I don't have any information on it as far as what the percentages are. I smell it already. Nice sweet nose. For the old Fitzgerald, I always get a little bit of like an orange citrus on the nose and in the taste. So it is first pour of the night for me. So it is very potent out of the bottle. It's still sweet, and the flavor, the orange, the caramel, the vanilla goes nice and smooth to the back of the throat. A little bit of the Kentucky hug, a little bit of warmth. And always after the first sip of an old Fitzgerald, the Heaven Hills old Fitzgerald, I go back to the nose and I get a lot more citrus. It just seems to open up a little bit more of the spice. So it seems to me the more you drink of the weeders, initially you always get that very sweet taste, that caramel, the butterscotch, little bit of the toffee. But as you drink it, then you start to pick up a lot more of the fruit flavors. So now I'm starting to get the orange. I want to say a little bit of licorice, or anise as they call it. Yeah. A lot more fruit. I do get that in the dusty old Fitzgeralds. I do have a couple. I've tasted them on the podcast. I would say that they stay a little bit more caramely throughout each sip, and they tend to maintain that vanilla and orange flavor. Even as I do the older age old Fitzgeralds, I notice that the sweetness decreases as you drink it and you get more of the fruit flavors. So it's still pretty good though. This is a great $60 bottle. When you can find them, something you can take with you, you can share. It's just a nice sipping, drinking bourbon. I've cracked both of these before, so these are not neck pours, although this one's the grain to glass has only been open for a week or two. We just had a huge Happy New Year's Eve party here. And so I brought all the bourbon from the downstairs bar where I normally do the podcast up to the upstairs for the party. And instead of trying to carry it all back down, I just figured I'd try to do a podcast up here. It was a great night. We had about 30 people. We were expecting about 60. And due to the weather, they ended up getting about 6 inches of snow that evening and night. Even the band canceled. So we were supposed to have a live jazz band play. But still had a great time. Had wonderful people here from around the neighborhood, and even some people that drove in from out of town, and they stuck around. Even the kids were here having a good time on their own. So great New Year's Eve party, first one here at the house, and we really enjoyed it. We appreciate everybody coming out and enjoying the festivities. Got to share some good bourbons. One neighbor brought us a scotch. So at some point we're gonna have to open that up. So this is the from the Chinquapin barrels. Grain glass is a little more expensive. It's a $70 bottle. So I don't get as much scent on the nose with this one, even though it's a higher proof. It's 105 proof. I'm not getting any ethanol. I'm not, just very slight caramel, little bit of fruit on the nose. I'd say it's a darker fruit, almost like a cherry. It's a lot sweeter compared to the old Fitz. Almost too sweet for me. And I really like sweetness. So it has a lot of dark fruit flavors. I would say a cherry and almost like a blackberry without the tartness, like a blackberry pie. Still not getting much on the nose. Still real sweet. I would say it's a little more viscous, and the residual taste stays on the tongue a bit longer than the old Fit 7. I would say the old Fit 7 has a little more floral notes than the grain to glass. To me, the old Fit 7 is a little more enjoyable. It doesn't have that real filling, rich taste of the grain to glass, but I do get a little bit more of the oak, and the finish is nice. It stays, but I think I would prefer the old Fit 7 over the grain to glass on taste. I mean, then if you do it by cost per bottle, I think the old Fit 7 would be the deal. Very rich, a little bit of dryness, and you do get the Kentucky hug as it comes down. But even for 105 proof, I'd say it is very similar to the old Fitz. I'd say it drinks under its proof. So probably right at 100 proof. I think just because the old Fitz 7 is a little brighter in flavor, a little more of the citrus notes versus the dark fruit notes, that it allows it to be, for me, a little bit more enjoyable. Still good product. The Chinquapin, saying it wrong, Chinquapin. This one is from batch 6225, and it is on sale here in Ohio. It was available. A lot of the stores actually still have it on its shelves, even though it was an allocated bottle. It did not have the fanfare when it was released. Whereas the old Fit 7, it's a lot harder to find, and probably rightfully so with its flavor and taste. Like I haven't touched the old Fit 7, and there's still legs on the glass. I'd have to say the old Fit 7, and out of the two, is my favorite. And I think the old Fit 7 probably drinks a little hotter than the grain of glass. There you have it. It is weekend weeders, and of those two, I have to give it to the old Fit 7. So anybody looking for a Heaven Hill wheat product, the old Fit 7's a good one to go with. But I do appreciate y'all watching tonight. This is our first one back after the new year, and we'll have try to get one out a week going forward. So thanks for watching. Please like, give 5 stars, leave comments. I do try to interact and reach out to people that leave comments. And if there's anything that you would suggest, I know somebody in one of the comments requested to do the 2025 CYPB. So I think at some point we will do that. I do have one from 2025. I also have a 2023 that we can use as a comparison. A little bit left. That one's been open for a while, but we did stand in line. We were able to get the 2025. So we will do that one. as well as a number of other ones coming up. We've got the same day we got the grain glass. We got the rare character limited release batch number 5. So we'll open that one as well. Heard some good things about that bar, so I'm a little curious. And then we'll go from there. So once again, like, subscribe, and let's go with 5 stars. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.